Okay, so now for our question and answer. We have a bunch of questions that have come in so far. If you guys are still wanting to ask questions from Amber and haven't figured it out yet, down below is a box that says ask a question. So you can go ahead and type it in there, and we will get to as many of the questions as we can. Okay. I'm sorry, my screen is kind of far away from me. Let me pull this closer so I can read it. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, here's our first question. It is from Janie. She says, I have attempted to make royal icing 2 different times with 2 different recipes that failed. Now I have no confidence to try again. Is there a secret to making this icing? Upon watching several videos, it appears as though if you wish to change the consistency, you just add water or add powdered sugar. Is this correct, or is this just going to take a lot of practice?
Well, first of all, don't give up. Keep trying.
Never give up. Come on.
It takes lots of practice to get it right. You'll find the recipe that works for you. Not every recipe works for everybody, depending on where you live, because of the climate can make, weird things happen to your icing. So about changing the consistency, it's correct that you just add a little bit of water to thin it down. But in order to thicken it up, I don't recommend just adding powdered sugar, because you'll mess up the ratio of sugar to meringue powder. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I have extra stiff icing on hand, which, just icing that comes right off of the mixer. And if I add too much water, I just add more stiff icing to thicken it up. But, if you do that, you'll never get back to the stiffest consistency. But if you're doing flood icing and you thin it too much, you can add a little bit of stiff icing to thicken it back up.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, one thing that I have learned is that you don't want to start adding more powdered sugar, like you said. Mm-hmm. And another good reason why is because then you're going to get some of that graininess from the powdered sugar, and it's going to clog up your tube.
Yes,
you don't want that.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have Vicky asks, will all your future custom cookies be sold on your website as opposed to Etsy?
Yeah, I'm actually moving the whole operation over to my own website. At the moment, I'm not taking custom orders, but every once in a while, I have what I'm calling cookie specials. So you can go on to the website and see what's available. Right now, I have my Mother's Day set available, which is a set of 6 cookies. It's a pretty blue and white design. So that's what's there now. In the future, I might take custom orders again, but I'm trying more to focus on teaching classes. So, yeah.
All right. Okay, we have someone that asks about the consistencies again of the frosting for, the whole. Can you go through the different consistencies that you use?
Yeah, so basically I just use the stiff consistency icing, which is the icing how it is when it comes off of the mixer. That's what I refer to as stiff consistency. And then I have flood consistency, which is my 14 to 16 count icing. That's what I use for just the base layer of icing on all of the cookies. And then in between there, I don't really use like a medium. Sometimes I'll use a medium consistency for things like monograms, or if I'm doing some very flowy designs that the icing needs to be thin enough to squeeze out nicely, but not so thin that it spreads all over the place. So there is a medium consistency in there somewhere. But basically, I always use either stiff or flood consistency.
Okay, good to know. All right, we have Denise asks, can you use buttercream for embroidery or only royal icing?
You can use buttercream. I have heard of, I've never tried this myself, but I've heard of people doing the brush embroidery actually on a buttercream cake, which I think you'd have to be really careful with that, but it is possible. But really, you can do brush embroidery on a fondant-covered cake using buttercream, which is something I've done, but I haven't done it on buttercream itself, but I have heard that it is possible.
Great. Okay, we have Robin asks, is it possible to self-teach decorating skills such as yours?
Yeah, I mean, in school, I had a 3-week class out of a 21-month program of just cake decorating. So it was really just general things. And then I took the Wilton class, which was, only 2 weeks long. So it wasn't like I've been professionally trained in just this for years and years. A lot of it was just me experimenting on my own, reading books about it, just a lot of just practice by myself. So yeah, you can definitely teach yourself.
Well, in a way, most of us are purely self-taught.
Yeah.
Unless you have gone to, there are a few schools here that teach purely cake decorating, but things like YouTube, things like CakeFu, things like your tutorials that you sell.
Yeah.
These are the things that really are what's going to teach you. Going to things like the cake camp that's coming up here in Las Vegas in a few months, or ICES that's out in Virginia. I believe it's Virginia, right?
I don't know.
Anyway, I think it's in Virginia. But yeah, these are the things that we as cake decorators do to train ourselves. So you have all of these different things at your disposal, but does that really make you self-taught, or does that make you, trained professionally? It's really hard to say whether you've been trained professionally or trained, self-taught, unless you're purely, reading a book and doing, which, that's a lot of how I learned. I learned a lot of my cake decorating skills before I even took the basic Wilton classes. So, I mean, it's possible. So it's just wherever you can find the information is great. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, all right.